For want of a better estimate, let's call it the year 2000. At any rate, imagine a time in the future when science has developed the means of giving everyone the face and body he dreams of. It may not happen tomorrow, but it happens now, in the Twilight Zone.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or, how about this, simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit.
Did you think that was really Obama speaking? As technology advances and artificial intelligence and machine learning become increasingly commonplace, there's a new group that is at risk for replacement: us. The people in the media that we see every single day around us, in images, in videos, they're all set to change. And that's because technology companies are currently developing replacements for real humans in media by offering clients access to instant, unique, AI-generated alternatives. Deepfakes are a form of synthetic media that combine artificial intelligence and machine learning technology to modify existing images, videos, even audio of people to create really realistic replacements. But how are these created? And how can they impact society?
I am Derek Shin. I am currently a graduate student in the computational math department at Stanford, and I used to work at Google doing machine learning. Generative media, I guess, nowadays is generated from a machine learning model. And a little bit about how it's done is that you have a very complicated, very powerful neural network that can learn these joint distributions, which represent the data that it's being trained on. And then after it learns this joint distribution, it can sample from the distribution and output points of data that seem like they would be a part of the distribution that it just learned. And if it does it well, then the stuff it outputs looks very similar to the things that it trained on. So what I mean when a model learns a joint distribution is that, let's consider an image. An image is composed of many pixels in a rectangle. So each pixel can be thought of as a random variable. 2 pixels is 2 random variables, but they're not. The output of 1 pixel affects the output of the pixel next to it. What I mean when a model learns this joint distribution, it's simply like it learns what the most likely positions or representations of the pixels are. And maybe I'll go into like how it samples from this. And specifically the word sample can be thought of as like, let's say you have a dice and you roll the die and you can see the die be 6 or 1, etc. That's you're taking samples of that random variable. Well, when the model learns a joint distribution, like let's say an image, you can think of the image itself as a very complicated random variable. And when it samples from it, it'll output new images from this distribution of faces or handwritten digits or whatever. And the stuff that it outputs, if trained correctly, can look very similar to the data itself, and seem like it's like new faces or new numbers.
Our project is about AI-generated media. And so what we're about to show you are images of people, and we want to ask you if you can tell if the person in the image is real or fake. If you think they're real, then stay on that side. If you think they're fake, then stand up to the F. So there is this model. She is an AI generated model. She's not real, but she has been on campaigns for Balenciaga, Vogue. And so we have questions about what are the ethics of creating diversity when it is actually being manufactured and not actually representing the people themselves. So this is shooting. What do you guys think?
I don't think so. Because there are lots of other real life people of color, and if you're not giving them the ability to showcase themselves or to speak their voice, you're taking that away from them, and you're using AI to present an image of them that's false.
Is it marked like on the advertisement that this is not a real person?
Sometimes, but sometimes not.
Okay, because I think that should be maybe, something that is regulated, that if you show people like this at an advertisement, that you have to let the audience know that this is not a real person.
This is the man who created Shudu. He is a white photographer, and he just decided that in 2017 he wanted to create a model who, in his eyes, is the most symbolic representation of beauty for him, and that to him was Shudu.
I think if this was like a project that he wanted to take on, was like making an AI model, and let's say like, because he's a white man, he can't, make a model that is African, or African American, or wherever she may be from. Then does that limit his choices, and does that say that he can only use someone that is white? If that's like, and then if that is the case, then are you telling him that like he shouldn't create an AI model, in general? So it's also like his intention. Who knows what his intention is? He only knows his intention, but I think that's kind of like a fine line of, well, then what can he do? What is the answer then?
I guess there is this movement in machine learning to make it fair. Same thing like I experienced in advertising world for online recommendations. We had many safeguards against treating one group differently than another group based on race or ethnicity. So Silicon Valley and in general the AI community is definitely taking this seriously.
And I think within the last years, we like on Instagram and like so many people like stood up for these like little imperfections that they're good, and everything went more like into the direction like realness on Instagram, realness in advertisement. So I think this is something which is like, destroying this completely, because of course they're like only like the pictures we saw. These are people without any imperfection. Like when you look at the skin, when you look at the body and everything. So I think it is also taking us like so many steps back, what we achieved over the last years, what is for my idea, it would be really sad.
There's an entire spectrum of opinion and thought surrounding the ethicality of synthetic representation. Is this a step forward for technology, but a step backward for diversity? There's no real answer. But we want to leave you with these 3 questions so you can decide for yourself where you stand on the spectrum. Will minorities face less authentic representation? How will this affect our relationship with media? And is this all inevitable?